Popo think it's water pimping, but this motherfucking Grey Goose, baby.
It's time. Your triple bogey, long shot parlay, full send degenerates at a place to call home. Look no further. It's the DGEN Podcast.
What is good, everybody? We are back for the second episode of the famous return of the DGEN Podcast. I am your host, Wagyu, alongside Mikey Rom, sporting the fresh beard. You got a fresh haircut too with that beard, or what?
Listen, haircut, bearded, I got it all done. Woo! Listen, I was receiving some feedback, some comments from the lady friend of the family that I was looking a little bit like Osama. So that's usually an indicator of time to get a haircut, a little beard trim, look a little fresh for the boys and the girls.
Well, if you want to take it a step further, don't forget, Mike, we got that promo. We got that DGEN 15% off everything at sundayswagger.com. You can get all your newest swagger, everybody, not just Mikey Rom, for 15% off. Again, that promo code is DGEN15. But, Mike, we got a new person hopping on the wagon, new company hopping on the wagon with a DGEN podcast, one that I personally am a huge fan of. Have you heard of Bully Boy Distillery here in Boston, Massachusetts?
Listen, I've been hearing whispers about them. A little cocktail garden, a little different than a beer garden. Forget the beers. We're moving on to cocktails. Beers, you get bloated. You can drink a few IPAs. You feel like you want to throw up. Cocktail garden, the things are going down like water. They're delicious. They're nutritious, and they're going to get the job done. So I'm excited for a little Bully Boy.
I love it. The nutrition value.
Yes.
The nutrition value. I love that.
I care about my figure, clearly.
In case you guys wanted even more information, they have a rotating cocktail menu. So, like, you know when you get bored seeing the same things on the same menu at the same place all the time, they have frozen drinks. You can get any, like, whether it's vodka, rum, whiskey, whatever you like to drink, you can get it at your local package too, which is super cool. You don't have to go out and like spend all this money if you don't have it to enjoy the Bully Boy experience. You can get it there. They do tours. They do a whole bunch of stuff that you're going to want to be a part of. So if you hit up 44 Secretary Street in Roxbury, Massachusetts, that's where they're located. You can take advantage of all that cool stuff and that cool experience. Mike, we got to go together. We have to go together.
It's going to be a blast. Listen,
throw the tweets out the window.
I'll probably be out on a stretcher, but it'll be a good time.
I love to hear it. Well, with that being said, drink responsibly, everybody, as always. So I don't know. I haven't even really talked to you since the last podcast. We've been so busy. But one thing I did today, I'm not sure if you're still doing it. I was obviously a big card collector growing up. You as well. I used to actually steal a lot of cards from Mikey Rom. People that don't know the older cousin taking advantage of them. But the whole card game has changed, man. Like I did a thing today. Like they do now, it's like all box breaks. You know, you go on you box breaks. I was bored at work. I'm like, I'm gonna do one. Next thing you know, I'm $250 in the hole.
Yeah, I think catch up on your hole. Yeah. It's
dude, I blacked out.
I see him on TikTok, like scrolling through. I'm seeing these card openings going, and there's like thousands of comments. Yeah, the card game is back, and for the viewers out there, I probably had $50 million in cards that were stolen from me from one Wayno Wagyu as a child, taking advantage of the younger cousin. Listen, I'll trade you a Ben Coates for an Albert Pujols. This is a limited edition first card. It's the only one of its name. It's really, I found one in the flea market the next day. So my card collection's kind of been stripped, but I got about 800 Ben Coates cards for all the New England fans. That's my guy. Ben Coates ever becomes like a mass murderer or like goes to the moon or something great, I'll be a millionaire because I have a million Ben Coates cards. But yeah, cards are definitely in. I'm in with it. Excited that they're making a comeback.
So I actually hit 7 different Trevor Lawrence rookies today. So I did pretty well.
7?
7.
How many packs you buy?
Out of one box. That's the crazy thing. Well, I did 3 different draws. So, and like each draw, there's like probably 8, not 8, probably like 5 boxes, and they each have like a fuck ton of sleeves of cards in each box. So like, yeah, like I did well today. I don't know how much I'm going to sell them for because I don't know how much they're worth. I'm basically in this blindly. Like I'm not a professional card person anymore. But with that being said, football is obviously right around the corner. So like, even more reason to get more hyped about it. But which, by the way, are you like ready for fall yet? Are you in that mode?
Listen, I'm a big guy. You know this. I love sweatshirt weather. I love sweatshirt and shorts weather. I'm ready for fall. I'm done with the heat. It's about 800 degrees in this room right now. I'm sweating sack. I can't open the window because there's construction going on outside my building. Like, I'm ready for the fall more than I'm ready for fucking water down the throat tonight.
Man, see, this is like where it's tough, you know. There's nothing worse than going around and seeing like everybody's lawn like dead. It's just like it's so demoralizing. Everything's roasted. You know what I mean? Like it's just like nothing's growing. Yeah. Like I just got my backyard hydro seeded, and like for what? For what? To burn? You know what I mean? It's not gonna grow, and not unless you water it like 34 times a day. So, you know, I am sadly ready for the fall as much as I love the summer, and I say that reluctantly, but just think of all the good things that come with the fall.
Football is the number one thing. Football, you know, a nice pumpkin beer, a nice bowl of clam chowder, some buffalo chicken dip. You can't beat it. Fall is the best.
So I don't know how I feel anymore about the pumpkin beers. I feel like that's like a thing of the past now. But also clam chowder, that's a year-round thing.
No. It's different in the fall. You're watching football. You're losing money gambling. All your bets are down. Next thing you know, piping hot bowl of clam chowder comes over. You eat it with a little bread. You know, those little clam crackers. You get it down the hole. You feel better about yourself until the next round of bets you lose. So clam chowder for me is a comfort food. Well, and clam chowder during football season is even better.
Speaking of losing bets, Mike, have you took a peek at your computer, your phone, the TV? The Powerball is $1.02 billion. I said that with a B, $1 billion starting tomorrow night. I'm just in awe. It's actually the fourth highest ever. It's actually been high. I think the highest ever was $1.6 billion. Either way, it's a fuck ton of money. But I'm going to throw some numbers at you. And I want you to tell me if you feel robbed or you just don't care because it's still a lot of money, all right? So I'm reading off my laptop right now, all right? Like I said, it's the fourth time it's ever hit the $1 billion mark. You have a 1 in 302.5 million odds of winning. You would receive a lump sum of $602 million after a 24% federal tax withholding, and also Massachusetts 5%, so 29 total. You would have to give up another $174 million roughly, leaving you with about $427 million after it's all said and done. So you're not getting the billion, but you're still cashing out. That's a lot of words all at once. What do you think?
First of all, it's an absolute highway robbery. You know it. I know it. That amount of taxes is hard to wrap your head around, especially when you're talking in the millies. Like you're talking 125 milli just off the top. That's one tax thing. 24%, that's another 240 milli. That being said, I'm never going to complain about getting $470-something million. So, Uncle Sam, take it all. Give me that lump sum. Listen, if I'm feeding kids in Africa with it, I don't care. I'll take the lump sum, and life's going to change, brother, for the better.
So you buying lotto tickets? How many are you buying? Because I already bought mine. I think I got because each one's $2. So I think I put $40 in, so I got 20 picks.
I'll probably throw a tenner down. Funny story. Last time I did this, I last time the Powerball was this high, I dropped $100 on it, and I felt like a huge asshole after for spending $100 on quick picks. So I'm gonna throw a little 10
But you know on. That when you
yeah, I was already spending the money. I was back at home spending, and I was like, yeah, I'm quitting tomorrow. Like I was like, I'm hitting this. There's no way I'm not. Like I bought $100 with quick picks. But so listen, I'll probably throw a 10 down, get in with the fun. If I wake up tomorrow morning and there's a miracle, I probably will just pass out. But yeah, I love the fun of it. Somebody's going to win. It's usually some old lady from like South Carolina that's like 97 and like has 3 years left to live that wins. So hopefully it goes to, somebody in need or somebody that could use it for a long time. But yeah, I'll be buying probably $10 worth for sure.
So you just described somebody that needed it. So us.
Yes, correct. Yeah, my bookie's knocking. Listen, somebody needs to pay.
So one last question before we move on to really our main topics of the podcast, and that being, let's just say you're the 1 in 302.5 million. Okay, you win tomorrow. Saturday morning you wake up, $427 million richer. Okay, what are you doing with the money? Who's getting it? Where are you going? Like, give me some of the details here. What's Mikey Rom balling out
on? Okay. It's a good question. So I think I'm going to be passing out millies to pretty much everybody involved. So it's like, Oprah, you get $1 million, you get $1 million, you get $1 million. I'm paying off debt. I'm paying off student loans. I'm buying people houses. People are getting boats. But at the end of the day, most of that's just going in a nice little index fund. You put it in there, you get some appreciation in your value, nice little 6-7% appreciation year over year. You take some out, you get some loans on the debt, and then you're never running out of money. Once you have that amount of money, you can never really run out. So give away a fuck ton probably will be my plan, and then the rest of it, it just sits and grows itself.
I think more than likely what I'm doing is taking care of everybody around my inner circle, not my outer circle, my inner circle. Just because I win 400 and whatever fucking $1 million does not mean that my cousin Derek that lives in East Bumfuck, Tennessee, which doesn't exist, but they would find a way to come out of the fucking woodwork, I'm sure, be asking for money. And that's like not what I'm all about, obviously. So with that being said, I take care of my inner circle. After that, I'm moving to a remote island. I'm opening up a little margarita stand, and I'm getting drunk on tequila every day and passing out free tequila and just living my life and living the dream. So let's just hope that happens. But we're moving on to our main topic right now. One of our main topics, buy, sell list. We were contemplating making it just NFL, but you said, you know what? We're not going to segregate. There's a lot of good stuff going on right now. So we'll kick it off with a nice little way to get our feet wet here. Michael Thomas, all right? Last year he was out the whole season, kind of sucked. He's back this year. He doesn't have Drew Brees. He's got Jameis Winston. A lot of things working against him, but do you still think he's capable of buying and selling the resurgence of Michael Thomas with the Saints in the NFL this year?
Yeah. That's a good one. So I'm going to buy this, and I'll tell you why. I saw a little subtweet. I don't know if you saw it. A little subtweet to the haters out there from Michael Thomas today saying, hey, look, my demise has been greatly exaggerated. Whoever's reporting your favorite fantasy football injury report reporter is wrong. And it's a clip of him like making a dime of a cut out on like an out route. So I'm buying Michael Thomas this year, even with famous Jameis. If there's one thing we know about Jameis Winston is he throws for a lot of yards. Michael Thomas will be catching a lot of those yards. He's going to catch touchdowns. Jameis will throw just as many interceptions, but that doesn't affect Michael Thomas. So I think he's going to have a big bounce back year. I think he's still got a lot left in the tank. And I love the little subtweet action. You can just tell he's petty. He's salty. Everyone's down on him. He's ready to prove everybody wrong. I'm buying Michael Thomas this year for sure.
I think a lot of times the number one receiver isn't as good as he should be unless he has a good number two to take all that attention off him off the field. He finally has a good number two beside him in Chris Olave that they drafted. Absolute elite stud. They picked up in the draft in the first round. And I think that's going to help take a lot of that initial pressure off him when he first returns to the field. So with that being said, I also buy it. I think Jameis is good enough to get him the ball. Obviously, he throws a lot of touchdowns, throws a lot of interceptions. But we're not talking win totals here. We're not talking about Jameis, reinventing the record books here or rewriting the record books. We're talking about how much action does Michael Thomas get, and I think it's enough for him to be a top 10 fantasy receiver this year. Not as good as Justin Jefferson but I think that Michael Thomas, I think he has the bounce back year, and I think that he surprises a lot of people. Right now, he's only the number 34 ranked receiver on ESPN Fantasy Football wide receiver rankings. Moving on, buy or sell Russell Wilson ending the Broncos' 6-year drought of not making the playoffs.
So I'm going to buy this. I think Russell Wilson, say what you want about him. He's this, he's that. He's kind of a weird dude. He's very cringy. Listen, the dude can sling the rock. He's a leader. He can lead a football team. He did it in Seattle for X amount of years, Super Bowl champion. I think that the Broncos have enough around them offensively. They have, Javonte Williams. They got Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. They got strong offensive weapons. I think their defense is good enough. I think Russell Wilson will get them over that hump and back into the playoffs this year. Mile High Stadium, we'll see a playoff game. Everyone makes a big deal about the altitude, the air, huffing and puffing. Listen, they're going to be huffing and puffing in the playoffs this year, I think.
I agree. Win totals, I think, is set at 9 wins. I think they get there just barely. I think they get to 10 wins. They're playing in a tough division, obviously. But with that being said, I think that he has a lot of good young weapons around him. A lot of the ones you mentioned. But one that you did mention, they lost Noah Fant to the trade to get him. But the reason why they dealt him was because Albert O, which, again, not going to pronounce his last name because I'll absolutely butcher it. But, I think that he is actually a huge part of what they do this season. And I'm looking at him really closely as a starting fantasy tight end this year and probably a good sleeper to nab. Moving on, though, to baseball. Juan Soto, been all over the news. He denied this huge, super duper mega contract the Nationals were dealing to him, 15 years, gazillion dollars. And I don't even know the figure. But now they're talking trades because they know they're not going to be able to sign him. Is he going to get traded, buy or sell, him being wheeled and dealed at the deadline?
I'm going to sell, and I'll tell you why. Juan Soto is a generational talent. I think, 15 years, I think the Nats will come down on the year total. I think it'll be closer to 10 years. I think the 15 years is really why he didn't take it. I mean, it's buku bucks. It's going to be buku bucks regardless, but I'm just thinking about you can't let a marketable person, a young person like that walk out the door. The Nationals would be dumb. Places he would land, they're talking about the Mets. The Mets are the Mets. The Mets will never be anything but the Mets, I think. Some other places they're talking about too, but it's really the Mets is the big spot. I don't see him getting traded to the Mets. I think he stays with the Nationals. I think they get it a 10-year deal done, and he's there for all those 10 years. I think he mashes up the home run derby. He's on top of the world. He denies his big contract. I think it's all leveraged to the Nationals. I think the Nationals will give him less years and more money. So I'm selling him getting traded.
I am buying him getting traded. I think at this point, it's pretty clear he doesn't want to be there. I think that he wants to play in a much bigger market than the Washington Nationals, which isn't that small of a market to begin with. But if he can go to a New York or an LA and really promote himself, because think about it, a lot of the personalities in the MLB right now, what they're lacking is that personality. They're lacking that fire to be a household name and to be cool to the kids and also relatable to the older generation and respect the game and all that, the good face of the MLB. And I feel as though he gives that, and you put him in a big market, and it helps grow not just Juan Soto or the team he's with, but it helps grow the MLB as a brand. And that's what they need right now. They're desperately looking for people to be basically very polarizing individuals and represent the baseball and MLB community like the MLB, like the NBA and the NFL have. With a lot of their players, and really generate a spark to the MLB again. So with that being said, I know it's a long answer, but I am buying Juan Soto, and I'm buying him to the Mets, believe it or not. Moving on.
Oh, okay. So I guess
Ryan Fitzpatrick. He is moving in, staying a little while. Thursday Night Football. Super cool. I love it. You'll definitely love it as well. But with that being said,
I love
Ryan
this.
Fitzpatrick being the best move around for Amazon Prime in the NFL.
I am buying. I would mortgage my house on this if I had one. I'm buying this. I think he's going to be phenomenal in the booth. I love his personality. I love that Amazon is taking a chance on him. He's journeyman quarterback. Was never at the top of the game. He was definitely serviceable. I think he's going to have a lot of good insight of the common NFL player and what their struggle is and what they kind of go through from the day to day. And I think obviously as a quarterback, Harvard guy is going to be able to provide that high level analysis that we see from other, more experienced, more successful quarterbacks in the past. So I think he's going to really provide that mix of, the low level kind of stuff. Like, here's why you did this. Like, this is what's happening with that. Just like your run of the mill players. And he's also going to be able to provide that like high level analysis that the top of the people on the game put out on the field. So I think I'm loving this move. I'm loving Amazon is taking a chance on him. I think he's going to succeed. I think he probably won't last Amazon for a while. I think he's probably on to bigger and better things as well. That's a little farther down the line and a long-winded answer, but I'm buying Fitzpatrick to the booth.
I am also buying him. I think that personally, in my opinion, he's going to blow Tony Romo out of the water. Secondly, I think that I will be highly disappointed if he does not show up to the first night of Thursday Night Football with aviators on, gold chain, ready to fucking rock, because that's just the big dick energy that I am looking for. So, Ryan Fitzpatrick, if you're hearing this podcast, just know that's the energy that we need. We want on a Thursday night to help us to get us to Friday, to get us to Saturday, to get us to Sunday, where the boys start rolling and watching Red Zone all day long. Moving on, though, next we have KD. A lot of stuff going on. Celtics propose a trade. They say, hey, we're going to trade you Jaylen Brown. We're going to trade you a couple other things. Nets say no. Now we're in what we would call limbo. We don't know what's going to happen. With that being said, do you think KD, buy or sell, gets traded to the Celtics or anywhere for that matter?
So I think I kind of want to hear your perspective first. So I'm going to switch it up on you and the viewers. You buy or sell first, and then I'll go second.
Man, I am going to sell only because I think that not just the Celtics, but the Celtics fans are so attached to Marcus Smart, and that's going to be the deciding piece in this trade. And I think the Celtics organization knows that he is the heartbeat to not just the Celtics, but the fan base. And once you lose that, you start to lose, I guess, that fire, that, passion that everyone brings into the stadium. And I just think they send something that if they lose him, it changes the dynamic, not just with the fans, but in the locker room. And for that reason, I think the deal doesn't get done. But personally, I am a fan of it. I want KD to come. It's great for the city, great for the Celtics. Yeah, you know what? You lose Jaylen Brown, but it's been said a couple of times that he may not want to sign here after his 2 years are up. So with that being said, I'm selling reluctantly, but I hope it happens.
Okay. I'm going to also – so I thought you were going to buy, which is why I wanted you to go first. I'm also going to sell, but for a very different reason, and this might be the hottest take today on the pod. I think KD is over the hill. I said it. I don't think he's going to be that good anymore. I think that his best years are behind him. He's still an elite player, but I'm not ready to mortgage our future, especially like Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, like you said. They're both still pretty young, especially Jaylen Brown. He's still improving. I do think he'll sign here again. I think this is kind of like a leverage play, leaking this stuff to the news. I think, it's a play for a better contract, which I think he deserves. So I'm selling because as good as KD is, as good as he'll probably be next year, I don't think he's going to be that good in 2 years. I definitely don't think he's going to be that good in 4 years. And I don't want to mortgage our entire future that we've built with these cornerstones that we drafted. I think I want to roll the dice with this team again, add a few pieces that we need. Obviously, we need some pieces to get over the hump. But we made the fucking NBA Finals. Like, we're pretty much there. We just need to be a little bit tighter with the ball and be a little more cleaned up with our passing. And we need Jason Tatum to not lay an egg in the finals. But I'm going to sell just because I don't think it's worth it. That's it.
Well, you mentioned taking care of the ball, stuff like that. Hopefully Malcolm Brogdon, who they signed, takes care of that issue. But We will wait to see if that is the case. Moving on to the next buy or sell. I know maybe you didn't watch the MLB draft, Mikey Rom. You may not have watched a ton of the MLB All-Star break. But you know what? I did. And I'm telling you, the MLB draft was actually the best part of the whole thing. I'll tell you what. The MLB has a good thing going. they're finally competing with the MLB and the NBA and the NFL in a different category now, and it worked. With that being said, some big names, ex-MLB players' sons, being drafted in the top few picks. Most notably, Matt Holliday, big-time power hitter, great, long-time St. Louis Cardinal, and played for like a slew of other teams. His son, Jackson Holliday, only 17 years old, mind you, gets drafted number 1 overall. Cool. Super cool, right? What's even cooler, the 17-year-old has bragging rights now when he goes to math class in 6th period because he made $8.19 million in a signing bonus. Do you buy or sell any 17-year-old being worth that much money?
Listen, I'm always going to buy people getting paid, so I'm buying this. Listen, if a team wants to pay him that amount of money without ever seeing him play on MLB Diamond, listen, if I'm him, give me that money. Like, all right. I mean, listen, he could be the real deal. He could be the next coming of Jesus Christ on the baseball field. I don't know. But if a team wants to pay that amount of money to a 17-year-old for a signing bonus, all the power to that person. So I'm buying it. I hope he takes that money. He buys like a Bugatti, a nice yacht. You know, he's 17. I'm sure he's going to be buying alcohol for all his friends at the liquor store. Like, good for him. I can't even imagine what I would do with that amount of money when I'm 17. So I'm buying it. I'm happy for the kid, and I hope he has a great career. I think, you know, from everything that I hear about him, he's going to be amazing. Hence the money. But yeah, I'm buying it. I'm happy. He got paid.
Yeah, honestly, like the Orioles are one of the few farm teams right now, or their farm system is pretty remarkable. They have so many unbelievable young guys. Do they stay there long term? Who knows? But it's just one more add to the list. He's gonna be good. It's in the blood. His dad played phenomenal. You look at the tape; he plays phenomenal. He's still young. He's gonna get better. I think it's a great buy. But with that being said, we're gonna move on to the last buy and sell, and we're gonna keep it simple. It segues us into our last and final main topic of the podcast. But Brittany Griner, is she ever coming home, buy or sell? Let me know.
So this is a good one. I'm going to buy this, but man, she must really be hating her life right now. You know, she brings a little vape pen over to Russia. You know, you think she's going to get just a little buzz on, little marijuana smoking. Next thing you know, it's an international incident. You know, we're bargaining with Russia. We're sending it back, you know, high-level drug dealers. I'm going to buy if she comes home, but man, she really just made this into a big can of worms.
So I don't want to get too much into like the politics and the this and the that, but like motherfucker doesn't even like stand for the national anthem. Said she doesn't want to be part of it. It should stop being played at all the venues and blah blah blah. Now she's sitting over there in her jail cell waving the American flag like an idiot, being like, "Oh, like please save me," blah blah blah. Like nothing smells as good as like the great pollution we have in the U.S. of A. So next time you want to dog it, just stay woke enough, right? Stay woke to know that you have it pretty good. So stop fucking complaining, because I mean, I'm personally sick of it. A lot of people are sick of it. There's too many people that just like want to push back just to push back. And before I even give you my buy or sell, that's the honest to God truth. And honestly, fuck Brittany Griner. With that being said, should she come home? Yes, because you know what? She's still a U.S. citizen. I want her to come back. But at the end of the day, she's a piece of shit. And it just goes to show you that all that matters is your name, because there's other people that are over there that are being held hostage that just have as much right to come home as she does, and they're not going to come home. But you know what? They're going to make these proposals with Russia to let this guy that is in jail for 25 years with legal arms violations or laws, you know, and set him free, because you know what? It means that Brittany Griner of the Mercury gets to come home so you can see her stupid highlight reel of one-hand dunks that probably you can get a better highlight reel watching me play my last pickup game in. Like, it's so bad.
Yeah. I'm going to say no. Your pickup highlights are pretty bad. You know, I'm packing you 10 times out of 10 these days. So, but yeah, I agree with you. Like, you know, it's funny how things happen. Karma's a bitch, like you said. not standing for the anthem. Now she's waving the flag. I thought that was funny. But yeah, I think, she's a U.S. citizen. We're always going to want our citizens to come home. We never want anyone in the U.S. to get stuck in Russia. I agree with you. There's other people that aren't going to get back just because they're not as famous. But yeah, it's such a crazy situation. If you asked me 5 years ago if there would be an international incident because Brittany Griner got caught with some vapes in Russia during the middle of a war, I wouldn't have believed it. So it's just a crazy, crazy time we live in.
She's facing up to 10 years in prison, first and foremost. And again, it just goes to show you hold something like 10 years in prison in a Russian jail over someone's head, how quickly they throw all their morals of staying woke about how bad U.S. is right out the window because now they want to come home and play a little basketball and be cool and popular again. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. That's that, though. Very controversial last topic, so I'm sorry if I offended you. Not really. Sorry that we're not sorry. But Mike, good podcast. I think that my next step is to go straight to the Bully Boy Distillery. How about you?
Yeah, we're gonna have to head there very soon. We'll love to get in there and try all the drinks. Listen, I'm moving on. I'm maturing. I'm becoming a mature adult. I'm moving on to cocktails. I would like to kind of get involved and see what the world has to offer when it comes to cocktails. I always love a good Bud Light. I can slug them with the best of them still, but it's time to get involved into that little cocktail business.
So before we go, they have rum, they have whiskey, they have vodka, they have gin, and they have a couple other cool little like infusions and stuff. But out of those 4 base liquors that I just said, which one are you choosing? You have to only choose one.
So if I had to choose one, I'm choosing whiskey every time just because I feel like whiskey is the best drunk. And then I wake up feeling like $1 million for some reason. I don't know why. So I would pick whiskey 10 times out of 10. What about you, Wagyu? What are you thinking? What's your keep out of the options?
Well, my first thing is that your video is super laggy right now, so it's a good opportunity for us to leave the podcast. But before we do, I'll answer your question because I am a man that love my whiskey. I love my dark liquor. I also love my rum, but I love my whiskey. So with that being said, first thing I'm doing when I go to Bully Boy, whiskey all the way, super pumped up. And for everybody that isn't aware, also, obviously we have a sponsor that presents this podcast, presented to you by Sunday Swagger. Again, use that promo code DGEN15 to get the 15% off. Also, the more you guys like, the more you subscribe, the more you share, the more you care, and all that good stuff about our podcast, the more we grow, which means that we appreciate it. We appreciate you, and we love you. So thank you for all the help and continued support. Is there anything else that Mikey Rom wants to spit out to the fans of the DGEN podcast before we rip it and say goodbye? Well, apparently nothing because
that supports us. More things to come.
Oh, you're back. All right, you're not frozen anymore.
Are you frozen again? Oh my God. Okay. Cut.
No, I know. Fuck. All right, we gotta go. All right, peace out, everybody. DGEN podcast without.